Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today I am very sleepy because I just stayed up way too late reading comics last night. I will show you what I was reading. I'll wait for everybody. I finished reading Project this volume. I still got more to read, but this is the first 4 issues of Project Noah. Now Osis by Paul Thayer. I have to say, I was really pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. It was nonstop action. I mean, if you just want nonstop superhero fights, there you go. You know, it's just battle after battle after battle. Little world building, some characterization. Can't complain. I also read this. I feel a little bad because Denali, I think his name is, he sent this to me, but then he had problems with his camera and couldn't come on the channel. And then tried to fix it and just lost touch. So but the thing is, this is like so here's a comic book. This is like this is a regular comic book size. This is small. So it was just hard to read. So I just kept putting it aside. So finally I was like, let me read this. It was freaking excellent. So pretty good. Then I finished this book finally. Frill, the Coming of the Power of the Coming Race. Man, it's broken into 3/3. The first third was great. You know, the setup, how we got there. The middle third was just world building without characters. It was a slog. Oh man, that's why it took me forever to read it. I would read like a couple of pages a day, and then I got to 1 page a day, and then all of a sudden, once the world builders and went back to characters, I loved it. I'm really glad I read it for so many reasons. One of them is it explained like you can't just have world building as a plot, you know. And that's what happened in the middle of this book. It just dragged it down. But then once it got back to actual characters, it was great again. And I finished reading this last night, 1941. This is just I love the movie 1941. I love Steve Bissett and Rick Veitch. So this is just like 1941, the movie on acid. It was fun. It was fun. I know people are gonna roll their eyes at this. This is excellent. This is excellent. Penthouse Comics. It's comics made by Penthouse. And in the 90s, I think it was the 90s, they made Penthouse Comics with, and the word comics was spelled with an X. And they were pretty explicit, very well drawn. But I'm not going to say the stories were great. But these Penthouse Comics, they're pretty pretty restrained for Penthouse Comics. I mean, the original ones with the X, the Penthouse Comics, the first series, were full on, full on penetration and everything like that, with some great comic book art thrown on top of it. These are no different than normal comics. I mean, they got really good stories, except for the second story. It was just ridiculous left-wing propaganda. But they were really good stories. One of them's a full-on mystery that doesn't have any nudity in it at all. Very well drawn, and just boobs. Just boobs. The first story has the most reason to have full-on like hardcore action in it, and it doesn't. So there you go. I'm actually surprised. Again, I'm not a prude. There's a time and a place for anything. In a comic called Penthouse Comics, you'd think they'd be more explicit. I'm not disappointed. I'm not like, yeah, we need some boobies, but I'm actually shocked about how restrained it is. All right, let's check out the chat. Looks like people are showing up. I got Hal Deer reminding people that I have a comic on Indiegogo, which I think this is a good excuse to bring up my comic since somebody else brought it up, not me. So I've been on Fund My Comic. I did pretty well on Fund My Comic. I did okay on Kickstarter, And this is just dying on the vine on Indiegogo. And people say that like Fund My Comic and Indiegogo kind of have the same overlap. So maybe, but the other thing that bothered me is this wonderful cover. I only sold like 3 copies of this cover. Jeez, that is just glorious, you know? And what do? Do I overprint them and then hope to sell more when I do Heroic Tales 2? I mean, it's going to cost me more to get this all set up for printing than the money it's going to cost me. I mean, the money I'm going to make to sell it. So I don't know. This cover is this is setting itself up to be the super rare cover. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. Just hoping this would do better on Indiegogo. I think I made a tactical error by dividing up the covers on various platforms. Should have did all 4 of them on Fund My Comic. But we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, this is on Indiegogo. Here's the link right here. This beautiful Mike Gustovich cover. I just love this cover so much. It's just out of the 3 covers, this is the most 80s superhero cover. I just love this. I love that cover. I don't know what else to say. All right, stop that, and we'll do that. So there's that. We got Marcus. Hey, Marcus. Marcus is also reminding people that I'm also on Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic is going to be my home from now on. I do not think going forward I will be going on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I think I'm just going to be on Fund My Comic. Just concentrate on that. So you know, you learn from your mistakes. There's a comic book of 1941. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Made by the Heavy Metal magazine people. It's like I said, I love the movie 1941. I've always loved that movie, and that comic is just 1941 on LSD. It's just like dialed to 11. Hey, Zach, then hope you all and everyone has a blessed day. You too. Hey, Project Analysis, how you doing, Paul? I was just talking about your comic. I was just reading it. When I'm done with this, I'm gonna read the ones that you know. I got this big old stack in the mail. So I'm trying to read all my indies and crowdfunded comics first, because a couple of people know my policy that if I don't talk about it, that means I don't like it. So they were getting their feelings hurt. Like, oh man, you had my comic for months now. And it's, you know, I just also, if I don't talk about it, that means I didn't read it yet. So I want people. So I also got all of this Project Analysis stuff to read. So I got the Omega 1990. This is 104. Oh, I got 1 and 2. Okay. I'll be reading that. The Crimson Pain comic. I'll be reading that later. And now these are the individual comics that are collected in that trade paperback. So I have no reason to even well, I am going to open them and look through them and everything, because that's the way I am. But this is 1 to 4, and then various covers of 1 to 4. So these, for the most part, I already read because I read the trade paperback. So that was fun. That was fun. Good morning. Feel free to talk about your comic. Ordering a new one today. Oh, this is my buddy Jimmy. How you doing? Jimmy is part of my comic because he's been part of my role-playing team since the very beginning. He's got characters that will be in the comics, and at some point down the road, Jimmy will team up and actually write a story based on one of his characters. Is that supposed to be Chewy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We'll talk about that when we get to the comic. If you're not getting 1,000, get 100. What do you mean by that? Is that supposed to be? Oh, I already clicked on that. Yeah. Oh, he said it twice. Okay. Everybody's saying hello to each other. 0 to 4, you read One City? Yes, I did. I stayed up till 4 in the morning last night. You know, I'm off work. My sleep schedule's messed up. And sometimes I get into like manic states where I just read. So that's what I did last night. I just I just was like getting mad because I tend to read a bunch of things a little bit at a time. I'm a very slow reader. So I just got mad. I'm like, why am I doing this? Just finish everything. So last night I said, I'm not going to bed until I finish all the comics that I started. And it took me till 4 o'clock in the morning, which is why I'm a little daffy right now. Chugging the coffee. Oh, episode 4 isn't in the trade. Oh, so I read 0 to 3. I didn't read 4 then. Okay, I got you. Okay, so yes, I'll read that tonight. And then I'm going to read all the supplemental comics. And here's Marcus. He heard me mention Jimmy playing role-playing games. This is my forum that Jimmy and I have been, and my buddy Paul. I would be remiss my duty if I didn't mention Paul. Paul is the administrator. I think Jimmy's also administrator, and I'm administrator for this message board where I talk about my role-playing game, and we do it. And I'm like 4 years behind. I let this website fall, and I'm trying to maybe incorporate this into Heroic Tales as like maybe a storefront or something like that in the future. We'll see how that goes. Oh, buy 100 copies of the book. Yeah, buy 100 copies of his book. Buy 100 copies of my book. Paul is the consummate salesman. I can learn, and I'm not joking. I'm impressed by Paul's like salesmanship. He's gonna give like, he could sell ice to an Eskimo. He's at every convention. I'd like to someday in the future, when I actually have product to sell, to work with Paul. Maybe go to a convention with them, learn from it. I'm the old 56-year-old newbie to this. Paul's a pro at working the crowd at a convention, and he's already talking about Batman. He can't wait for Batman to go to public domain, Superman to public domain. I said it as a joke, but the more I realize it, it's not a joke. We're gonna all be working for Paul someday. We're gonna be working for him. I wish I had a tenth of his energy. Yes, more Tim Hortons. Okay, let's put your Tim Hortons in your superhero mug of choice. I would love for some questions you asked. Yeah, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, last night when I was done reading, Paul, when I got these comics, Paul messaged me and said, your comics are in the mail. I'd love to hear some of your feedback. So I said, okay, let me read them. And I said, I read them all, and I have questions. And, the questions weren't like, why didn't you do this? Why did you? No, my questions like, oh, cool. I want to know more about this. I want to know more about that, which means I'm interested. That, you know what I mean? Like, you want to know about stuff. So I asked, and he was just like, okay, this is going to be answered in this issue. This is being touched on, and blah, blah, blah. And so it was fun. Forgive me. Like I said, I stayed up till 4, and then I woke up at 9:30. Coffee needs to be kicking. Go, caffeine powers. Binge reading books. Yeah, let's go. No, 100 copies of your print run. You asked how many should I get? If you don't get 1,000, I'd max get. Oh, I see. Okay. See, Paul's the voice of wisdom. Ideally, I was hoping to get 500 of each cover. I have 4 covers, so I was hoping to get 500 of each cover. That way, it would cover all of the crowdfunded campaigns, and then I would have extras to make sets and put it on as a perk for issue number 2. That's what I was hoping, but I that means I would be close to selling out of the Pat Broderick and the Renzo, and then have way of the Michael T. Gilbert and the Mike Gustovich. So what I have to do, because right now the comic's just about finished lettered. Luke Stone is going to do the pre-press, so I really don't know how long pre-press takes. I'll talk to. I'm actually going to call Luke Stone tomorrow. I'm not going to call him on Sunday. He's a preacher, so he's going to be busy, and we'll talk about that. And then we got to talk about print. I was actually calling local printers, but the local printers around here, they're like, yeah, will print 100,000 copies. You know, they don't specialize in small print. They're like they don't get out of bed for 1,000 print run comic. So things are happening. Things are happening, and what just the luck of the draw. Looks like I'll be going back to work when it's time to fulfill comics. You know, so who knows? Have a network of indie comics creators can be beneficial. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You should definitely have a catch-up to. Yes, yes, yes. So, you know, whatever I'm printing, I will be printing at least 50% more for issue 2. Maybe that's a hopeful or whatever, but I would like to have, like I said, ideally I wanted to do 500 of each tier of each cover. So to have 2,000 comics, you know, 500, and then sell that out, but whatever. All right, so I'm all caught up on the comments. We got a bunch of people watching, so I'll take one more sip of coffee. No, my mug is empty. All right, let's back to work when the weather gets cold. Bummer. Yeah, you know what? What's funny is sucks to get up and go to work when it's cold, but it's not as dangerous. This happened because of the heat. I passed out in my car because of the heat. You know, you don't pass out in your car because of the cold. You don't get cold stroke. Nobody goes to the, you know, in August, the ambulance comes to work once a week. Somebody's passing out, dehydrating, fainting, whatever. And in the cold, that ain't happening. I mean, it sucks, especially when it's raining and then you jump in a mud puddle in the cold. But, you know, it sucks, but it isn't dangerous. All right, so let's talk about Star Wars. So it's funny. This is actually my original copy. And as you can see, it was a reprint. I've bought new copies of 1 to 11, and I can't find. I found 1 and 2, and I don't know where I put 3 and 4. That happens every once in a while. I misplaced a comic, and I woke up at 9:30, came down here, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't want to show off this beat up old copy. I wanted to show the new copy, but I don't know where I put it. I didn't give myself enough time to look for stuff because I slept till 9:30. So we're looking at my original copy from whatever year this is. I thought I gave them away. I thought some of them I covered over with magic markers, but maybe this isn't my original copy. Maybe I got this a long ago, but I remember, you know, recoloring all of these. Although this one I probably didn't because they got the colors correct. And Chewbacca looks horrible on this cover, huh? This looks terrible. Although the lightsaber is wrong. Oh yeah, the lightsaber is wrong. So this isn't my original copy. My original copy I colored over. I love the cold. Give me more. Okay. Do you work outside? All right. So let's check this out. Let's open up. Let's open up, shall we? So just let me know if you can see everything. Again, I'm like half asleep right now because I stayed up too late reading comics. So we got Roy Thomas, scripter, editor, Howard Chaykin, and Steve Lailiola, artist, illustrators, and Ors. So that's Tom Orzechowski, I think, on letters. Based on the film by George Lucas. So the story thus far, we all know the story thus far. Does anybody among us not know the story of the original Star Wars movie? You know. And again, the art is a lot better. So the first issue was rushed Howard Chaykin. This is now Howard Chaykin and Steve Lailiola. And I think the art is so much better. I just realized that okay, colors, Lailiola. Okay, so Steve Lailiola is also doing the colors. But this is really good. I forgot how good this was. I haven't looked at this since I was a wee little kid. That's an odd thing to say about a movie that only has 3 movies. Of course, there's only one Star Wars trilogy, you know? That's odd. Why would you say, you know, there's only one Like, would you say there's only one Lord of the Rings trilogy when there's only 3 movies? There's only 3 Star Wars movies. Why would you even bring that up? Loa. Okay. Death Star definitely sounds cooler than Death Moon, despite the actual size. Yeah. Or Death Ship. Pete Rock. Hey, Pete, how you doing? How's Allison? How's Arizona? How's everything? Great splash page. It is. That's a Gil Kane and Tom Palmer cover. Oh, it is? That's Gil Kane and Tom Palmer. Okay, now I recognize the Tom Palmer, but in a million years, I never would have said Gil Kane. I would have believed Howard Chaykin and Tom Palmer. Okay, I guess you're on Wiki. Okay. All right. So here she's talking about Alderaan. You can't blow up Alderaan. Did I skip a page? Oh, that felt thick. And we all know what's going on here. Let's look at that. That is a horrible face. The first panel. Okay. The colors are off the uniforms. I guess they colored them green because of the connotations to American or Earth military. This is an excellent face, Carrie Fisher right there. And then they just blow up Alderaan. They don't show any of the laser being formed into the dish and everything like that. They just blow it up. Again, this is from what I know, this comic was made before the movie even came out. So they were making this from production stills and things like that. And maybe even storyboards. So I'm amazed that a lot of it is as accurate as it is. And here we got, the Force, that famous scene. Oh, here they're playing chess over here. Yeah, look at Chewbacca. He's looking very apish over here. Like I'm surprised how I didn't realize this for so long, that Chewbacca is like a dog man, not an ape man. He was inspired by George Lucas's dog. So that's why he's the loyal dog companion. But he's very, very Sasquatch over here, right? Yeah, Chewbacca is the Sasquatch. Yeah. Hey, Zach Dan's going to church. Go get some more blessings. Distribute them freely amongst the world. Bye-bye, Zach Dan. This is, I don't know, this R2-D2 almost looks like it's photoshopped in. Looks really good. Super prizes. Anybody want a super prize? Look at this Charles Atlas ads. So sad that it's reduced to them. That this voucher worth $20 off on a giant library size authentic $39.95 Webster dictionary. Wow, I could see kids just rushing to go get a $40 dictionary back in 1977. Oh man, mom, can you write me a check for $39.95? Why? I need a dictionary. There you go. I wonder how many people took the offer up on that. Right. So now this is part of what I'm talking about with Han Solo and Chewbacca. The last issue we all seen of Chewbacca of they're hanging out in the Mos Eisley Cantina, a bar that you could murder people in that bar as long as you tip out the bartender. Han Solo's space smuggling drug dealer, avoiding the cops, no questions asked, BS artist. And then his companion over here will rip out your arms if he loses in Space Chest. These were bad people. These were not good people. These were nasty, mean, horrible people. And let's face it, Chewbacca is an extension of Han Solo. Chewbacca is not his own character. So when Han Solo turns good, Chewbacca turns good. And the proof that Chewbacca is not his own character is in. I heard rumors that there was a movie where Han Solo dies, and then some girl that he just met like 18 minutes prior to that, she gets Chewbacca. She just gets him like an accessory, like a purse. But so Chewbacca's not a full character. He doesn't have an arc. He doesn't have a, like as Harrison Ford said, he doesn't have a mama, doesn't have a dad. Has no story. So here they are talking about let the Wookiee win. Here's the remote, and then Luke with the red lightsaber, training with the remote over here, and I like the remote shoot him in the leg. They put the helmet on, and pretty movie accurate if you ask me. Are Wookiees related to Wampas? What was the Wampa? The Hoth snow beast, right? I don't know. They evolved on different planets, but then again, with ships traveling back and forth, who knows? I had no ideas these were done before the movie was released. Yeah, that's what I remember. Marcus will correct me if I remember correctly. The Batman movie adaptation was made before the movie was done. Okay, yeah, I think they got like advanced footage. That's why, if you remember, there was scenes in the comic that weren't in the movie. That they showed Jabba the Hutt. They showed Luke talking to Biggs Darklighter. They showed Luke looking up and watching the lights in the sky of the battle. There was, and those scenes are deleted scenes that you could get like on the internet and everything. What if the movie bombed? Well, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, they made Battlestar Galactica comics. They sold, What if that's the risk that you take when what if you make Spider-Man comics and they don't sell? They made my phone is blowing off the hook. Every time I go live, my phone just starts going off the hook. We got Pacific Comics over here. Look at this ad. Pacific Comics was a great comic book company. It started out as I think it was like a comic book back catalog warehouse, and then I think it became a distributor, and then it became a comic company. And PC Comics introduced me to Gru the Wanderer, to Twisted Tales, my first horror comics. I love Twisted Tales, and Elric of Melniboné. I learned about Elric. Well, I learned about Elric of Melniboné from the D&D Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Deities and Demigods book, but then they brought him to comic books. I love that company. I just love that company. It would explain why so many movie adaptations were slightly different than yes, yeah. I think and it makes sense, because if you waited till the movie got released and then started working on a comic, it at best it takes 2 months to make the comic and then print it and distribute. So you're talking like 3 months after the movie. By then you got to strike while the iron's hot. So they wanted the Star Wars comic to come out, simultaneously with the movie. So I don't know if they were released at the exact same time, or if the comic came out slightly first, or what have you. But that means that the comic was well into production before the movie was released. It has to be. It just has to be. So they were working with advanced stills and maybe some footage. So yeah, PC debuted The Rocketeer. Yes, it did. Dave Stevens. That also introduced me to the wonderful artwork of Dave Stevens. So it's kind of easy because I don't really have to tell the story. We all know the story of what's going on. Obi-Wan and Han and Chewie. See, this is a little different, and I don't blame them. Let's see if I can raise this a little bit. Just the layout of the Millennium Falcon. We all know that this big room is more in the belly of the saucer, and this cockpit is over on the side. So this, you wouldn't be able to see these from that. We know that just from the movie, but I guess if you're working on these stills, you wouldn't know that. So that you wouldn't see them in the cockpit and them in the lounge area, So now they get down to sublight speed, and they're seeing the debris of Alderaan, TIE fighter flying by. And then I'll bring the camera down. Now they're all in the cockpit. And this cockpit's much roomier than the one in the movie. Look how much space they got. And here they are coming up to the Death Star. And this is pretty. Oh wow! I just noticed this. I never. I'll bring the camera up a little bit. So here they're getting pulled towards the space station. And if you notice, it says, "I've got a bad feeling about this." But C-3PO is saying it. C-3PO has got these yellow square boxes. So that's funny. They give the wrong character. They give the wrong character the line, "I've got a bad feeling about this." Doesn't Han Solo say that? Or does Luke? But I know C-3PO doesn't say it. You're right, 3PO. Full reverse, Chewie. Why are they moving toward it? Lock an auxiliary power. We're caught in a tractor beam. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it supposed to be a tractor beam, like attraction, not tractor beam, like farmer tractor, like an attractor beam? But it just, because of the way it sounds, we just changed it to tractor beam. But I'm firing. There's a repulsor beam that repulses you, and an attractor beam, like attraction, like Elvis Costello in the Attractions. But they say tractor beam. It's one of those things that bothered me since I was a little kid. You're supposed to say a tractor beam. We're caught in a tractor beam. No, we're caught in an attractor beam. But I'm a crazy person. Oh, before I flip the page, let's address the chat. So Marcus has got my back over here. Thank you, Marcus. I hope you're enjoying your breakfast, Marcus. What are you having? What is everybody having for breakfast? Yesterday, I made arepas and eggs. Oh, so good, so good. It came out before the movie. The comic came out before the movie, and the creators didn't have a lot to go on with Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with it. It is as accurate as it is. Man, I'm having difficulty with my mouth speak. Dune movie adaptation is probably my favorite. I think I have that also. I've said it many times, and I keep expecting people to get mad, but nobody seems to get mad. But I'm not a fan of Dune. I tried to read the book. I watched the original David Lynch film. I saw it in the movies. I thought it was a slog. I didn't see the new ones. Are they worth watching? I will say that the new board game is amazing. Amazing board game. I really, really like it. But I'm not a fan of Dune. I tried and I tried and I tried. I just realized my camera is off because I'm looking at the chat. I'm not paying attention. Maybe in the script C-3PO says it. Maybe. Maybe. You blame Star Trek? Hey, Rachel, what do you blame? What do you blame Star Trek for? For me not liking Dune? Usual eggs and toast. I love eggs and toast. Isn't it? Sometimes it's just nothing better than a toast with butter. Oh my God, just plain toast with butter. And how do you like your toast? Who likes? I like a medium toast with that. And my butter is a Kerrygold lately. That's my favorite butter right now. Kerrygold butter. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. I might skip it or have homemade chocolate ice cream. Oh, that sounds good. Homemade chocolate ice cream. Oh my God, you just made my mouth water. Dune miniseries is the best adaptation. Oh, okay. I thought the best version of Dune was the sci-fi miniseries. I'll take your word for it. I just don't like Dune. I don't like the world. I don't know. I tried. I'm not one of these people that just say they don't like stuff because they say they don't like it. But I tried and I tried and I tried. And I respect, what Frank Herbert has done. I respect, like, I have friends that are just whose opinions I really respect, and they all like it. But I tried. I don't like it. I also, I tried to read Atlas Shrugged. Oh my God. Yes, buttered toast. Kerrygold is good. Yeah. So here we go. They're all getting it. Let's turn the page. Let's see what's going on over here. And again, Chewbacca looks very Sasquatchy. Oh, we got the Marvel ad. What do we got over here? The Mighty Marvel Strength and Fitness book. Bring On the Bad Guys, Son of Origins, Origins of Marvel Comics. Yeah, these are all the Simon and Schuster released books. Again, I've said this many times. Stan was always, I think, probably up until like the MCU movies or whatever. But Stan always had like an embarrassment about comics. You know, as much as he was the world's greatest cheerleader for comics, he always was like, I want to be a legitimate guy. So in the 70s, him and John Buscema and everybody, they just made it a point to get published and put into regular bookstores. It was just like a matter of pride for him. And they got these hardcover, The Origins of Marvel Comics, you know, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, Son of Origins, Bring On the Bad Guys, Marvel Women, you know, and I just remember him going on like a talk show circuit talking about he's in legit bookstores. So, you know, it's good for him. You know, I don't think Stan went to his grave regretting, but at some point, I think he realized, yeah, this what I do is important. People love it, you know. But I think because of that you know, everything that happened in the 50s with comics, he was already a full on adult by the time he made Fantastic Four. He was married. I don't know if he had kids yet, but he always had that like comic books are for kids and comic books are like bad in some sort of way, you know, or at least maybe he didn't think comics were bad, but he always was aware that there was, you know, when I was a kid, I'll say up until the 80s, I remember some of my dad's friends were like comics are trash and blah, 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 blah. So we're talking till the 80s. So, you know, what's his name? Stan Lee always had that just little demon in his head telling him that comic books were illegitimate. So there you go. All right, let's adjust let's address the chat. Going for brunch at Mito in the mall. The original Doom movie had an awesome cast. Yeah, it did. I just don't like Doom. According to Wikipedia, E. Smith coined the term attractor beam in Space Hounds of IPC, but like a lot of things, it got shortened. Oh, okay. So I am absolutely 100% correct. I made eggs with cream cheese. I made eggs with cheese and buttered toast. Kerry Gold. There you go. I only like cheese on eggs if I make scrambled eggs or an omelet. But if I make eggs, this is the ultimate. Was it yesterday? No, it was Friday. My wife took Friday off. And she surprised me. She said, let's go to our favorite breakfast place. Jimmy, you got to come over here to Desiree's Bagels. It's a bagel place. So I got my favorite breakfast sandwich. Okay, you ready? I got eggs over easy with grilled ham on a buttered Kaiser roll and a cup of coffee. It's heaven. I wouldn't go there now because there's probably a line around the block. But we went on Friday. There's nobody there. The first Dune book is a bit ham-fisted with the politics, but the underlying concept and desert setting make it a unique experience. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. It earned its place in the pantheon of science fiction. But Zaktan says E. Smith coined the term. E. Smith is also the author of The Lensman, a book that I will champion. It's a difficult read. It's a slog. It's wonderfully outdated, wonderfully sexist. It's just a sign of the time. And rumor has it that Ron Howard has the rights to make the movie. And I dread that the movie will be made today because they will gut it of all of its charm. It's got to be retro future. It's got to look like Mad Men in space. You know, it's if they update this for a modern audience, first off, that's death, but that'll just kill the whole aesthetic of this comic, you know, of the Lensman. Hope I already addressed that. And Stan is still getting crap for giving himself too much credit. Yeah, and isn't there like a new documentary called Stan Lee is a Liar or something like that? You know what? Yeah, him. I know that Stan Lee is the funky Flashman. There's a comic book deep cut for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I still love the guy. You know, I go to Wally's for bacon, egg, and cheese. It's a local favorite. Yeah, bacon. And bacon's got to be crispy. It's rubbery bacon, people. I love that. I love that shot. It's just so cool. It's just so cool. Would you look at the size of that thing? And even that is, you know, the Millennium Falcon's too big. But that's just so cool. You know, still they're not still going to suck upon Solo like so much space dust. That's not a fight. It's not a fight we cannot win, Mr. Solo. There are many alternatives to fighting. And then we cut to the, inside the Death Star's all purple for some reason, instead of that stark white. Grand Moff Tarkin's got like a World War I military colors on his outfit instead of the what did he wear? He wore like a dull olive gray, right? Not olive green. The ship's here. It's pretty good adaptation, except for I'll say the colors were off. You leave that to me. You're a damn fool. Who's more foolish, the fool or the man who follows him? This is pretty accurate to the movie here. I think he taps his head. Tiki TX421. Why aren't you at your post? TX421. Didn't he see in the movie? Didn't he say TK? TK421. But in the comic, he says TX. I guess they were reading the script and the type. Yeah, that's different. Obviously over here, and then Chewbacca just he says hello a little too aggressively. Just beats the crap out of him. Chewbacca's just a full-on monster in this comic. And here they are. They make it to wherever they're going. R2-D2 plugs in over here. You see that? Yeah, R2-D2 plugs in. This is great. This is a great rendering right here. R2-D2 is just coaxing it out of it. I got these Slurpee cups over here. I remember these Slurpee cups. These were a big deal for me when I was a kid. Let's address the chat. Okay, Dr. Mask. Good morning. My favorite tune is the Iron Maiden song "To Tame a Land." Get the gist in a few minutes. Oh, I didn't know that there's an Iron Maiden song. I made an apple for breakfast, and here's Eric the Guapo. That's why he's handsome, because he eats better than the rest of us. And I'm just curious. Is it keeping the doctor away? Is it keeping the doctor away? Rachel Brinkley says, bacon in Canada is better due to our fatter swine. I like Canadian bacon, like the real Canadian bacon with the corn meal around the edges. I love that. And then, fry it up so it gets a little bit of a crispness on it. So good. So R2-D2, again, this is all right out of the comic. She's here. The princess is here. We got to rescue the princess. He's like, oh, she's rich. How? I don't know. I imagine quite a lot. Again, this is right out of the comic. Except for the camera angles, this is right out of the comic. It is right out of the comic because I'm looking at the comic. It's right out of the movie. This I love. This vibrating shocker. Hercules wristband. Impossible not for the super bodybuilding system. Be better than the best. Be dynamic. Okay. I guess I will. I got no choice. Instantly, your muscles will begin to grow. Instantly. You buy this book, and instantly, your muscles will grow. That's up there with you keep saying that word. I don't think you know what it means. So here's the scene, they're putting the cuffs on Chewie. What do we hope they don't have blasters? And again, they're making the Death Star a little bit more colorful than it needs to be, than that stark black and white. They got oranges and everything. Where are you going? Prisoner transfer from block TX-138. I was notified. They have a whole scene over here. Look at Chewbacca just being a monster over here. Just ripping things apart. You got more ads, Slim Jims. This always bothered me, this ad, that this projection of this woman is in front of and bigger than the screen. I don't know why. That drives me crazy. They're just fighting. He's blasting everything. The only thing that they left out is I always liked that they showed Han Solo blowing up all the cameras. I don't know. I always thought that was a nice touch, you know. And here they are just fighting. And then this was, I remember as a kid, I thought this was the cool. This cemented Han Solo as the coolest. You know, everything's under right. We have slight weapons malfunction. We're all fine, thank you. How about you? A negative reactor leak. It was, and then he blows up the thing. That just was like the coolest Han Solo moment in all of Star Wars. I don't know. I was like, I like him, you know, and that's when Han Solo, I liked him better than Luke. You know, he was just a cool guy. Let's see, we got more people. Hey, Edwin the Ace. How you doing? Hail peeps. How's it going, Edwin? Our local farm stocks carrots from Canada. They said it doesn't make sense to grow them because Canada's are so much better. Something is in the soil. It's Bigfoot poop. Conan the Barbarian. We got Twinkies and cupcakes with free baseball cards. This was I remember this. I remember this distinctly. You got Twinkies, and you flip the box over, and those baseball cards you had to cut them out with a scissor on a dotted line, you know. So they had the picture and then the stats on the back, but you know. But if you didn't cut them well enough, they had like that the edges, you know. I just remember that. That's how big baseball cards were. That they came printed on Twinkie boxes, you know. And here we got Princess Leia. You know, she was all seductively laid out on the table in the movie. Over here, she's just like getting away from the wall, which kind of makes sense. Shows you that the artist was thinking about this because he's blasting through the door and she's huddled up against the wall. You know what I mean? Shows you that the artist was thinking a little bit about the sequence. I like that. Here come to rescue you. Who are you? Aren't you? Does she? Oh, she doesn't say. Come to rescue you. We'll bet she doesn't say, aren't you a little short? Oh, yeah. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? There you go. She does say it. And they're fighting. You know, begging your forgiveness, Your Highness, but maybe you prefer to be back in your cell. Here comes trouble. And just blam, 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 right, Chewie, start blasting. 3PO, where are you? Ben Kenobi versus Darth Vader to the death. So this, if I remember correctly, there was 6 issues in the movie. So this is number 3. So we're about halfway there, you know. And it's funny because Orca, is that Richard Harris and Charlotte Rampling? Yes, I love Charlotte Rampling. She was so sexy. I don't know. She was just so sexy. I gotta watch Orca again. So that's Star Wars. Let's see what the chat has to say. I remember the baseball card. Oh, you remember Marcus? Okay. Do you remember Twinkie the Kid? You remember Twinkie the Kid? You remember Twinkie had his own mascot? He was a cowboy, and there was Fruit Pie the Magician, Captain Cupcake, and there was more. There was like Ho Ho the Indian Chief. Have to go. The Beast Raban is getting hungry. Never read the books. Heroic Tales #1, Indiegogo. Oh, I was like, what is this? This is my comic. This is my comic book. Did I ever show you guys the trailer? Let's show the trailer. How cool is this trailer? Kyle Prometheus made this for me. Let's show the trailer. Oh, I'm gonna scroll up. Check this out. how cool is that trailer? How cool is I love that trailer. I legit love that trailer. That is just so cool. So again, I'm done with the comic. Only 50 minutes. That's because I don't have to tell the story. I don't have to, talk about the comic story that much, because we all know Star Wars. I know. Isn't that jazzy music so cool? It reminds me of The Incredibles, which to me, The Incredibles is the greatest superhero movie ever made. It's the best Fantastic Four movie. It's the flat, legit best superhero movie. So, I dig it. I put up the trailer and filled up my coffee cup. That's why there was a little bit of a pause. Marvel printed a Star Wars in it. Marvel printed a Star Wars in every way they could. Yeah, they made the oversized Treasury edition. They made little black and white pocket books. I remember, I was in third grade when Star Wars came out. Me and Jimmy were in third grade together. And I mean, Star Wars was just it. It was the thing. And so I got the comics. I got multiple copies of the comics. I got the big Treasury edition. I got the toys. Saw the movie. And I got a little black and white pocketbook edition. And that I colored, with crayons and magic markers. It was too small for fat crayons, but I got that. I got a big poster set, and I colored it in with markers. I lived, breathed, ate Star Wars. Those, remember, whatever happened to Star Wars? What was it? The last movie came out in 86? And then we never heard from it again. So those of you who are young, Star Wars came out in the 70s and 80s. It was 3 movies. Kind of flawed, because if you see the Empire Strikes Back poster, Luke is like holding Princess Leia and staring into their eyes. It's the problem with Star Wars is Lucas didn't plan for 3 movies. He wrote 1 movie, and then he inserted stuff. If he planned for 3 movies, he never would have had the Luke and Leia kissing. He did. It's just, we love it, flaws and all. Anybody got comments? Anybody got anything else to say? As usual, when the comments die down, I'll close down. What do you have for breakfast? Jimmy's going to Me Too. Me Too is a Japanese Asian fusion place. They got good burgers, believe it or not. They got Japanese food. It's pretty good. They got a Sunday brunch. It's like $30 a person, but it's so much food, and it's like 7 courses or something like that. It's really good. A lot of food. Wish I could go, Jimmy, but this is my 8th week no pay. So that's why I'm just reading comics. This thing's worse than that. I'm just staying at home reading comics. Hey, Grey Wolf, how you doing? So looks like I'm closing down. Looks like the comments ended. So check out Indiegogo's Heroic Tales. Get that Mike Gustovich cover to happen. What else do you want me to say? I know Brian Bow he's getting his campaign ready on Kickstarter for Wolf and Batsy number 13. I'll be helping him promote that. I can't wait. Okay, who wants spoiler? You guys want spoilers? Let's see in the chat who wants spoilers, because I just got a great spoiler last night. Okay. Oh, Grey Wolf. My grandson was born Friday morning at 1:30 a.m. Congratulations. Oh, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Yeah. Everybody, thumbs up in the chat for Grey Wolf. How you doing, Pop? Is that your first grandson? That is wonderful news. You know what? That actually made my day, because I got to be honest, the past couple of days have been rough. This being at home is getting to me. I don't know if you saw Don had my buddy Don Draws Stuff had an episode that I don't know why that affected me as much, because The broken neck, everything's getting to me. So it's good to hear good news. The news of the world is driving me crazy because you got nothing to do but sit at home and be on social media. So I'm just going a little whatever dark. So this is good news. Good news. Dale says, "Give me spoilers. Give me spoilers." Marcus Kellegrew says, "Congratulations." Yep, my first grandson. We had a granddaughter, but she was I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That's rough. Oh, Dale wants to know cat news. Yes. Funky Fur, as my wife calls him, is back. So for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, Funky Fur is this skinny little black kitten. Obviously not a kitten, but maybe, who knows? Kittens can have kittens, right? Babies having babies. Just started eating on our porch because we have a built-in cat. We have a cat called Smeagol, because Smeagol's always hiding. He's always hiding. And Smeagol, the little boy, we just feed him. They've been feeding him for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years when they lived in the house, the previous owners, and that was part of the deal that we would. So my wife, beautiful cat. Long story short, there's always food on the porch for Smeagol. Well, every once in a while, other cats show up. There was Gingy, there was Prince Onyx. My wife names them all. The Pavarotti and fake Pavarotti, and then there was Funky Fur. And Funky Fur is this little skinny little cute cat. Oh, and then there was Tiny, and Tiny. We think Tiny died in childbirth. We think somebody poisoned Tiny. And one day there was just 3 kittens in the backyard, 3 cute little kittens. We got them trapped, all healthy, and they took Funky Fur and they fixed her, clipped her ears, and then returned her to us. Now we called her Funky Fur because she always had patches of fur, and we knew it couldn't be ringworm because Smeagol, she would trick, because Smeagol and Funky Fur are always rubbing up against each other. So we knew it wasn't ringworm because Smeagol would have ringworm too. That's how contagious it is. But it turns out the vet says she's allergic to flea bites. The cats live outside; they get fleas. So she just has these little patches, and they grow back, and then another patch shows up. It's really, so she just looks like a poor little cat, So she had kittens. The kittens are gone. She's back. She seems to be fine. Loving up with Smeagol. We see her every day. So thanks for asking. Yeah, all the furries in Ohio are hiding. Marcus is laughing at that. Thumbs up in the chat for spoilers or for the grandson. Either way, that works. Our cat has a clipped ear, hence shark bite. Is she clipped because of the vet, or she clipped because she got into a fight? So we're talking. I promised a spoiler, so I have to use my summoning powers to find it. It's funny because I always download stuff on my phone, and then I'm like, oh god, I gotta find it. Okay. So you guys ready for a spoiler? I'm so bad. I'm like a little kid. I get something and then I immediately show it away. Okay. Who's ready for a spoiler? Okay, so this is the layout for Eddie is Doomed, the cover of Eddie is Doomed. Oscar is doing the cover, and Tonic Mole is drawing. And anything about Eddie in the real world, Tonic Mole is drawing. Anything about the comic book world, Oscar is drawing and coloring. So I'm playing with the idea of Eddie, the real world, being black and white to mirror Love and Rockets, and then everything in the comic book to be like crazy color to mirror, Golden Age and Silver Age comics. So this is the working Eddie layout. So Tonic Mole is drawing Eddie, and we'll send, Oscar asked for specific ways for it to be drawn that it's an artist ease that I don't understand. And then once Tonic Mole draws Eddie, we're going to put Eddie, Tonic Mole's draw. So it's going to have 2 different artists on the cover, Oscar and Tonic Mole. So there you go. There's the spoiler. There's the spoiler. And yes, my wife gave me a haircut because too broke to even go to the barber. Nurture and release cat. Okay, there you go. So far, so good. Cool. So there you go. That's exactly an hour now. I used the trailer as a sneaky way to fill up my coffee cup. Anything? Any other news? I got nothing else to spoil. Any other news? Any other thing you want to talk about? If not, going once, going twice. Okay. I think that this is a fun. I still love Sunday comics. It's one of my funnest things. I forget who I'm talking with this week. Let's see. Let's see what I even have scheduled this week. So I'm looking at my phone because that's where my calendar is. Let's see today. Oh, okay. I have Phil Diaz at 7, and that's it. I don't even have a guest for comic book team up. So just Phil Diaz. That's it this week. And then Friday at 8 p.m. as always, I'll do It's Clobbering Time. Judge Dredd versus the Punisher. So love the idea of 2 artists working on the cover. Yeah, me too. I hope it works out. This is an experiment. Fun stream. Thanks, Marcus. So there you go. That's Sunday Comics. Another one in the bag. Thanks a lot, everybody. And I'm gonna go. Bye-bye.